some of you guys, the group leader, they already understand everything, and they're like so tired of this. The problem is you guys are the people are not there, not working on the work. You are dragging everybody down because we have to move forward. We cannot stay in the same spot for a long time. But I'll go as much as I can to help you. All right, so let's go with quick time. Okay, which question you want me to go over? No questions? Yes, Charlotte?
Could you go over number 10?
10. What does 10 says?
4 minus 1 over 3 over 4.
Negative 3 over 4, positive 3 over 4. Okay.
Minus 1.
Minus 1 is equal to 7. This is called rational exponent equation. If you ever have a rational exponent equation, you had to get rid of rational exponent, but you have to isolate first. So I'm going to add 1 on each side. So that's going to be 4x minus 1 to the 3/4 is equal to 8. Did you do that first? Okay, so now in order to get 3/4, we talked about yesterday, in order to get rid of 3/4, what kind of power I need to apply here? Inverse. Good. 4 through. And then you guys all name things same thing, but you have to do the same thing on both sides. Not just math. It's like a balance. It's like a seesaw. I don't know if America doesn't have seesaw because there's probably gonna be more lawsuit if they do have it in the park. Somebody gonna knock out people's jar up. But if you think about it, it's really like a seesaw. If you do something to one side, you have to do something to the other side. So before x minus 1 is equal to 8 to the 4/3. Now you have to understand a to the m over n equal to n roots of a to the m. I was just teaching somebody this yesterday. It was on SAT. It was one of the question 20s. Question 20 usually the hardest one question in the non-calculus section. There are 2 questions in a row. It's talk about same thing, 8 to the 4/3. So that means that I have the third roots of 8 to the 4th. And I might want to do something like this, 2 to the 4th, 4x minus 1. 4x equal to 16 plus 1, I think. And so x equal to 17 over 4. Do they have plus minus here? No. Good, because it's third roots. Square root does though, but this is the third roots. So you don't have a plus minus. How do you know if your answer is correct, Safa? Go on the decimals. So I'm going to show you again, how do you check your answer? Not simple math, not math way, not photo math. Yesterday, Safa used photo math. I yell at her. And yes, she's a good student. I still yell at her because I'm going to be more critical even she's a good student. So understand what the drawing is. Move everything to the other side. It's going to 4x minus 1 to the 3/4. So 4x minus 1 to the 3/4 and minus 8, right? Because I move everything to the other side. So minus 8. And I just graph that. You don't need a graph equal sign. You just graph that. And you're going to see here, it's 4.25. You see 17 over 4 is 4.25. The idea of this is going to be in AP pre-calculus. Because later on you're going to use calculator to figure out where the answer is if something not able to solve by hand. And guess what? Calculator is an x-intercept. X-intercept are the solution, are the roots, are the zeros. They all represent exact same thing. So use the calculator. Stop using photo math. Simple math. If you rather ask somebody on group chat, says, hey, how do you know how to do this? Because at least I have a discussion going. Rather than look up at things, you just look up, says, oh, I know how to do it, but you cannot perform on the test. It's like watching Messi play and say, I want to play like Messi. No, you're going to practice like Messi. Next questions. Astrid and Annika. Number 9. What's number 9 says?
I is equal to r over r plus e.
I equal to what?
I is equal to r over r plus
this question that we have gone through a lot of time, it's always on SAT, always. The next PSAT you're gonna take, I bet my money on it. This question is on that. You can get it right or you can get it wrong. There's two choices. You're gonna get rid of fraction like what we usually do. And when we do that, it's gonna be R plus E equal to R. And then it's gonna be IR plus IE equal to R. Move the R to the other side and then factor out. And then R equal to IE over 1 1 minus R. Sorry, 1 minus what? I can read. Now some people says their answer is negative IE over I minus 1. They are the same answer. If you take this negative sign that should be on the bottom, they're identical answers. But you need to find out this and this are the same. Annika? What does question 13 says? 27 to what?
3x minus 1.
Is equal to what?
9.
1 over 9? X plus 4. Annika, since you're a group leader, I'm going to ask you, what's the common base between 9 and 27? I'm asking Annika. It's okay, Charlotte. Annika, what do you think? 9 and 27. What's the common base between 9 and 27?
Would you be able to do 3?
Okay, good. So 3 to the which power is 27? 3 to the third. So I'm going to change that. And I'm changing this to 3x minus 1. This becomes multiplication because you are actually like this. You are actually like this. And so 1 over 9, that's kind of interesting. Why is that 3? 3 to the which power is 1 over 9? Charlotte? Negative 2. Does that make sense, Annika? 3 to the negative 2 does not give you a negative number. That means 1 over 3 to the 2. Yep. 3 to the negative 2 to the x plus 4. So it'll be 3 times 3x minus 1 equal to negative 2x minus 8. 9x minus 3 equal to negative 2x minus 8. I think that's going to give you 11x is equal to negative 5x equal to negative 5 over 11. Is that right? Negative exponents. You got to learn how to deal with the negative exponent. One of the most important thing on calculus, when you take a derivative, usually you have to change the exponent before you take a derivative. And you learn that this year, so your next year is going to have less problems. Next questions. Brandon? 5. What's question 5?
2x minus 1 minus 4.
I have seen people do it online. They try to factor it. No, you don't need to try to factor. If you have square equation, use square root to counter it. Right? And yesterday I hear like my son is talking to himself, like what kind of Pokemon counter with what kind of Pokemon? I have no idea. I'm no freaking clue what he's saying in the back of my seat. But the idea is square root and square are opposite to each other, are inverse to each other. Kaden knows what I'm talking about. Which Pokemon is against Pokemon, right? Okay, I have no idea. He was talking in my backseat. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So counter by square root both sides, but when you square root, please forget plus minus asterisk. People mentioned to you, Safa mentioned to you on group chat, don't forget plus minus. And what did you do? You forget plus minus. And now I call you out. It's not only you. The whole classroom, there's 6 of you guys. And that's going to be plus minus 2 root 5, I believe. If you don't know how to break down that, it's going to be 10, 2, and 5. You can take out 2. So 2x minus 1 equal to plus minus 2 root 5. So this is going to be 1 plus minus 2 root 5. 2x divided by 2 on both sides. So x equal to 1 half plus minus square root 5. And that's the answer. The test is on Thursday. All those test questions is on there, except we need to cover one more concept today. Yes.
So, are you like always just splitting them?
Yeah. I think there's one more question from somewhere. Leah and then Mara. Okay, Leah, go first.
11.
11 says what?
2x minus 2. 2 power of 2 over 3. Negative. Equals to 26.
I don't think it's equal to 26.
Plus 1 equals 26.
Okay. So I'm gonna again isolate them, and if you see that this is 27, you see that this is gonna be how do you get rid of negative 2/3?
It's 25.
Huh?
It's 25.
Oh, this is 25. Thank you. This is 26. Okay, sorry. This is 26. This is 25. So how do I get rid of that? Negative 3 over 2. So it'd be negative 2 over 3. If you see they all follow the same format, it's not hard. Now, this one is 2, right? That means square root. So a lot of people didn't do this because this one is plus minus 25 to the third, but except there's 1 on the top. So let me do that again. So I'm going to take a negative first. So that's going to be 1 over 25 to the, like this. I will do that first. It's 1 over. But do you forget plus minus? Now this question, if you didn't do plus minus, I understand because it's kind of hard to think about those things. And that's not fun. I'll give you majority credit, but 3 plus minus, this one's going to be 125 because you're going to square root 25 is 5. 5 to the third is 125. And then you're going to divide by 2 on both sides. So it'll be 3 over 2 plus minus 1 over 250, I think. And that's equal to 250. This one's 125, so it's 375. Yeah, plus minus 1 over 250. So it's 376 over 250 or 374 over 250. And there are 2 answers here and both answers on a graph. If you graph it, you're going to see 2 solutions rather than 1. Ian? I just went over the whole question. You dozed off the whole time. Next question. Emerson? 16, what the 16 says.
X over 2x squared minus x minus 6 minus 1 over 3x equals 2 over x squared minus 2x.
2 over what?
X squared minus 2x.
Okay, so I need to factor this. Can you tell me what a factor here? I don't know the factor.
2x plus 3 over x minus 2.
Is that right for everybody? Okay, and is equal to 2 over x minus 2, right? Did you factor that? Okay. Did you multiply everything by 3x, x minus 2, and 2x minus 3 plus 3? A lot of people trying to combine fraction. Please do not try to combine fraction. Get rid of fractions. Because first thing, it will completely cancel out. That's going to be 3x squared. So easy. So nice. Just knock it out. No fraction, no nothing. Minus x minus 2 times 2x plus 3. And we already know that. We know that's the factor of 2x squared minus x minus 6. And if I cancel that out, what do I have left? 2x plus 3, right? Because x minus 2 cancel out, x cancel out 2. Wait,
We need 2x.
2x plus 3, but hold on. 2x minus 2 cancel out. I think it's 6, right?
Yeah.
Is it 6?
Mhm.
Charlotte is 6? Okay, good. And the rest of them just math. I mean, I don't even need to do this, but I'll just do it. Rest of them just math. And hold on, this is 18. This one's gonna be x squared plus x plus 6 equal to 12x plus 18. X squared minus 11x. Is that minus 12?
Yeah.
And that's x minus 12, x plus 1. X minus 12 equal to 0, x equal to 12, x plus 1 equal to 0, x equal to negative 1. Yeah. So there are 2 questions, 2 answers. Is anything cost zeros? No, none of them cost zeros. So both answers count, I think. Because you check the bottom, are they going to go undefined? No. Okay, we're going to move on to today's topic. What? Somebody's murmuring something. Who's that? No? Okay. We're going to talk about quadratic inequality. If you still don't know how to do certain things, come after school. My room's always open. And just you know, this room is becoming like a hangout spot for like a bunch of kids. More than enough, which is okay for me. So I don't know if I have time. If I have 10 minutes, that's fine. Let's just say if I have 2x squared minus x is less than 6, something like this. Now, the reason why I cover this is called quadratic inequality. Whole section of calculus is based on this. Those of you guys would, before in my calculus class, there was a question about this. It's called quadratic inequality. Now, what happened is you always set the equation equal to 0. But the way to solve is not like the way you're thinking of. The problem here's the question. You have to look at here. Here's my questions. Here is the questions. You're going to do something called a number line test. A number line test is something that very, very important that you have to get through. How do you know you have to do number line test? It's not linear inequality. So anything is not linear inequality, which is like question like, I don't know, linear inequality, like, I don't know. Not like 2x is less than 5. Not like that. You have to require to do a something called quadratic inequality, which is something called number line test. Okay? A number line test is to pay attention to the sign. Now, what we're going to do is factor this. Can some of you guys help me factor this? 2x squared minus 6 minus x. 2x and x. Negative 2 and 3. Good. That's negative 4x and this 3x. This end up to be negative x. Good. So it'll be 2x plus 3 times x minus 2. And it's less than 0. Now, the way to solve it is not This factor less than 0, this factor less than 0. Actually, that's a exactly wrong way to do it. You actually had to find endpoints. Here it's gonna say that's equal to 0 first, x equal to 3/2, negative, x minus 2 equal to 0, x equal to 2. Now what happened is I'm gonna draw a number line. I'm gonna have a negative 3/2. I'm gonna have a 2. And I'm gonna have 2x plus 3, and I'm gonna have x minus 2 here to write down right next to it because those factors are next to each other. Now I'm gonna pause right here. Let me know if you have any questions so far. If you have a question, ask me. I write this factor here. I write this factor here. And there's a reason why I write it there is so I can test a number. So remember, this is negative infinity, this is infinity. Which number I want to test? Well, I want to pick a number from negative infinity to negative 3/2. Can you tell me a number from negative infinity to negative 3/2? Any number. It doesn't have to be negative 2. Good. Negative 2 is less than negative 3/2, right? Would you agree? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in negative 2 into here. I'm going to plug in negative 2 into here. What sign am I going to get? I don't care about the number. If I plug in negative 2 for x, it's going to give you negative 4 plus 3, right? What is negative 4 plus 3? Negative sign. I don't even care if it's a negative one. I care about this negative sign. What happens if you plug in negative 2 into x into the second factor? What kind of sign am I going to get it? Negative, because it's a negative 4. So those two signs merge together, that becomes positive. Is that okay? What's a good number between negative 3/2 and 2? 1 is good, but there's a better number. 0. If I plug in 0 for 2x plus 3, what sign am I going to get? Because you plug in 0 in this x right here, so it'll be 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is positive. Ian, you're dozing off again. And you plug in 0, it's going to give you negative. That's going to give you a negative sign. Because positive times a negative equal to negative. Now, between 2 to infinity, which number I'm plugging? 3. 3 plug in 2x plus 3. What sign am I getting? Positive. And 3 minus 2 is what? Positive. So therefore, the merge sign is positive. Now let's answer the question. This is not the answer. This to answer the question. Answer. What are the question looking for? That means they're looking for negative value. Negative region. Because they say is less than 0. So the answer is going to be negative 3/2 to 2. And that's the answer. Now, if I have the same question, let's say 2x plus 3 times x minus 2 is greater or equal to 0. Guess what? What's the answer? Using the same number line, can you tell me what the answer is? Because I'm looking for greater than 0, that means what? Positive region. And positive region is going to be from negative infinity to negative 3/2. And it's bracket because this one's including union from 2 to infinity. And there's a bracket infinity. So there's a bracket here and bracket there. And how do I check my answer on internet? I graph it. I graph this to look at which one's above x-axis, which one's below axis. For example, I'm going to look at those questions here. They say less than 0. How do I graph on decimals? I graph it here. 2x, I don't know. It was 2x squared minus x and the minus 6, I believe. Look at here. The below x-axis are the answers, right? You look at this below the axis, there's a graph. If I ever graph this, whatever below the axis, this is the answer. This is a region from this number to this number because they are less than 0. They are below 0. And if this one, you're looking for above 0. So you can ask your answer throughout the things. Today's homework is going to be purely focused on quadratic inequality. You can have something like this. X to the third minus 4x is greater than 0. I'm just going to do it really quickly. What can I do here to factor this? X. What can I factor more? You should have recognized that very easily. Now, this is not quadratic equality. This is a higher, this is a compound inequality. The ideal is still the same. You set each one equal to 0, right? So that it's going to give you -2, 2, and 2. I'm going to write down all the factors here. What number I should plug in? First one, from -30 to -2. Which number? -3. Why about if I plug in -3 on x? What sign am I getting? Negative. I think only Austin's paying attention. Rest of you guys, are you paying attention? Emerson? You sure? Okay, so what's -2 plug in x minus 2? No, I need her to answer. -5, so let's put down negative. How about -3 put it to x plus 2? What kind of sign am I getting?
Negative.
Okay, so what's negative times negative times negative?
Negative.
Negative, so right on the bottom. Brendan. Okay, what's the number? Oh, this is 0. I'm such an idiot. Sorry, this is 0. What's the number I should plug in for here? -1, right? Negative, negative, positive. So this is positive. If I plug in 1, it's going to be positive, negative, positive, and negative. This one's going to be positive, positive, positive. It's going to be positive. If I have greater than 0, it's going to be from -2 to 0. Union from 2 to infinity. And this is the solution. Nathan, I'm gonna post a homework from yesterday's homework again, and then go through it. See if you understand. It's very much like your review sheet on your algebra test, which you didn't do well on, and that's the things I need you to work on to get better. Lena. You sure you can handle this class? Okay. All right. So,
Do you understand the part where why it's like negative positive on the bottom though? Like why? Like it's a positive square and then it's like a positive on the bottom. Do you understand?
okay. So there are two things I need you to know. One is the homework from yesterday. Safa, can you do me a favor? Can you post the yesterday's homework again because she's new?
Yeah.
Can you do that for me? And I just cannot find the thing. The second thing is